Is there a question about needlepoint that you've been carrying around for years, but you'd never ask it out loud because you're afraid the answer might confirm something that you're worried is true about yourself as a stitcher? If so, you are in very good company, my friend. And today, we're going to fix that. Hi there, I'm Ellen, and I've been teaching stitchers how to bring their canvases to life using decorative stitches and beautiful threads for 23 years. Welcome back to Needlepoint TV. You know, throughout all the years I've been teaching needlepoint, whether online to people learning from their living rooms or in my shop classroom when Serendipity was a needlepoint store, I've noticed something. There are questions that stitchers have, real, genuine, important questions that they never ask out loud. So today, no judgment, no embarrassment, just honest answers. I'm going to answer 5 of the most common ones that I've heard through the years. And after every single answer, I'm going to give you one specific thing you can do today. Because knowing something and doing something are 2 very different things. And the magic only happens in the doing. Now, fair warning, question 5 is the one most stitchers don't even realize they've been carrying. We're going to handle it gently, but we are going to handle it. So let's dive in. Question number 1. I've been doing needlepoint for years and I still don't really understand mesh count. Am I the only one? You are absolutely 100% not the only one. I can't tell you how many experienced stitchers have whispered this to me over the years. People who have finished dozens of canvases. People who would be mortified if anyone knew that they were still fuzzy on this. So let's fix it right now. Plain and simple. Mesh count is just the number of canvas threads per inch on your canvas. That's it. That's the whole thing. So 13 mesh has 13 canvas threads per inch. 18 mesh has 18 canvas threads per inch. The higher the number, the smaller the holes, the finer the canvas, and the finer the thread you need for stitching. Let's take a look at a couple of pieces of canvas. See the difference? On 13 mesh, the holes are quite visible, generous and open. On 18 mesh, they're much smaller and closer together, which is why the same thread that works beautifully on 13 mesh might be far too heavy for 18 mesh. It literally won't fit through the holes comfortably. And a thread that's perfect for 18 mesh might look thin and rather sad on 13 mesh. Here's the practical rule I use. The finer the canvas, the finer the thread. The coarser the canvas, the heavier the thread. When in doubt, stitch a small sample square and step back. Does the canvas show through? If your aim is to completely cover the canvas, your thread is too lightweight. Does everything look crowded and lumpy? Then your thread is too thick. Your canvas will tell you. You just have to observe. Now, your action step is to pick up a canvas in your stash right now and count the canvas threads in 1 inch. Write the number on a sticky note and put it on the canvas. Now you know exactly what you're working with. And that one piece of information will make every thread decision on that canvas clearer. All right, moving right along to question number 2. What do I do when I make a mistake? Do I really have to rip it out every single time? Actually, my friend, it depends. And I say that as someone who has ripped out more stitches than I can count over more than 50 years of doing needlepoint. Now, here's the honest truth about mistakes in needlepoint. Some mistakes need to come out, but some mistakes can stay. And learning to tell the difference is one of the most valuable skills you can develop as an artful needlepointer. Now, here's when to rip it out. If the thread is too heavy and the canvas looks lumpy, take it out. That's a fundamental problem and it will bother you every time you look at the finished piece. If the stitch direction is working against the movement and perspective of your canvas, take it out. Stitch direction affects how light hits the surface, and a stitch pattern worked in the wrong direction in a key area can throw off the entire composition. If it's in the focal point, your main subject, the thing the whole canvas is about, and it's noticeably off, take it out. Your focal point deserves your best work. Now, on the flip side, here's when you can leave it. If it's in the background and the mistake is subtle, honestly, nobody will see it. The background is meant to recede. A small inconsistency in a background stitch will usually disappear into the hole when the canvas is finished. If the mistake is in your thread, meaning you used a slightly different hue than intended and it actually looks fine, leave it. Happy accidents are real. They call it serendipity. If fixing a mistake would risk damaging the canvas or distorting the surrounding stitches, sometimes the cure is worse than the disease, so evaluate carefully. Here's the rule I live by. If I will still see the mistake when the canvas is finished, it comes out. If I won't, it stays. An aesthetically pleasing finished project is the goal, not perfection during the process. Now here's your action step. Next time you make a mistake, before you reach for the seam ripper, stop and ask yourself 3 questions. Is the mistake in my focal point or a background? Will it be visible in the finished piece? And will fixing it risk damaging anything? Answer those 3 questions honestly and then decide. You'll make better decisions faster. Now, moving on to question number 3. Is it okay to just not finish a canvas? Like ever? That is the $64,000 question, isn't it? And it's one that every stitcher who has ever shoved a project in the drawer is too embarrassed to ask. So let me reassure you, yes, it is absolutely okay. I want to say that again clearly. It is completely 100% okay to not finish a canvas. Here's how I want you to think about this. Unfinished canvases do tend to create some negative energy. Maybe it's guilt. Maybe it's disappointment. Maybe it's just that quiet feeling every time you walk past the bag. The weight you feel is completely normal. You invested time, money, and creative hope in that piece. Of course it's lingering over your head like a little black rain cloud. But here's the thing. That weight doesn't go away on its own. It doesn't get resolved by stuffing the canvas deeper into your closet or even under the bed. It gets resolved by making a decision about the canvas. So here are your options. Finish it, gift it to someone who might love it, donate it to a school or a senior center, or sell it through a canvas resale service. Whatever you choose, give yourself official permission to make the decision and move on. All 4 of those are legitimate, honorable decisions. What isn't a decision is, I'll deal with it later. Later, my friend, is where your creative energy goes to quietly drain away. A canvas is not a moral obligation. It's an invitation. And you get to decide whether you say yes to the invitation or no thank you. Now here's your action step. If you have one, go find that canvas that's been weighing on you. Pick it up and make an actual decision about it. Now, not later. Finish it, gift it, donate it, or send it to a canvas reseller. Whatever you choose, give yourself permission to make the decision and move on. And to make it even more official, put your decision in writing on a sticky note and put it on the canvas. Then put it somewhere you can act on your decision this week. You'll feel lighter immediately. Pinky promise. And now, question number 4. Is it really that bad if I just use whatever thread is in my stash instead of buying what the stitch guide says? Now, I love this question because I can hear the guilt behind it, and I want to release you from that guilt right now. The honest answer is, it depends. And here's how you figure out what you should do. A stitch guide makes specific thread recommendations for very good reasons. The right thread weight ensures proper coverage. The right thread characteristics, smooth versus textured, matte versus shiny, when paired with the chosen stitch, create the desired effect. So here's the question I want you to ask about the thread in your stash. Does it have enough weight to provide the desired coverage? And does its personality match what the design element actually looks like in the real world? If you're stitching a soft bunny and you have a beautiful soft wool in the right color in your stash, use it. Absolutely use it. That's a completely sound decision. But if the stitch guide recommends a smooth silk for a sky design element and what you have is a heavy textured wool, that is a mismatch. It will pull your background forward when you want it to recede, and nothing will fix that. So the answer isn't always buy exactly what the guide says. The answer is learn enough about thread characteristics to know when your stash is a great substitute and when it isn't. That, my friend, is thread knowledge. And that's exactly what separates the stitcher who is guessing from one who is choosing. So your action step now is to pull out 3 threads from your stash. For each one, ask yourself these 3 questions. 1. Does it have enough weight to cover 13 mesh canvas? What about 18 mesh? Question 2. What kind of real-world surface does it remind you of? Smooth, textured, matte, shiny? And 3. What design elements could you use it for? Write those observations down. You're building your thread knowledge bank, 1 thread at a time. And finally, question 5. Why does using decorative stitches on my needlepoint projects feel so hard? Because I feel like it should be easier by now. I saved this one for last because I think it's the one that quietly bothers us the most. And I want to answer it very, very carefully. Because you see, the real answer has 2 parts. Part 1, yes, needlepoint is genuinely challenging. Needlepoint, when done artfully, asks you to make hundreds of small layered decisions. Which stitch, which thread, which direction, any special techniques? How to create texture, depth, dimension, and movement. How to honor what the canvas can become. How to translate what you see in your imagination onto a physical canvas with a needle and thread. That is not simple. That requires knowledge and awareness and practice. And importantly, someone to help you build the foundation those decisions rest on. So yes, it's complex. And if you felt that, you were right to feel it. But here's part 2, and this is the part I want you to really hear. If it still feels hard after years of stitching, there is almost certainly a gap in your knowledge. Not a gap in your talent, not a gap in your commitment, a gap in specific skills that nobody ever filled. And here's what I want you to make absolutely sure you know. That gap is not your fault. Most stitchers learn needlepoint in bits and pieces. A class here, a video there, a tip from a friend, a book they found at a shop. Nobody ever sat down with them and built the whole structure from the ground up. Thread knowledge, stitch knowledge, how to see a canvas, how to make decisions with confidence. So they end up with some solid skills and, unfortunately, real gaps between those skills. And the gaps are what makes it feel harder than it should. Here's the way I think about it. Building your needlepoint knowledge is a lot like building a house. Some stitchers come to me as total newbies, ready to build from the ground up, and I get to walk alongside them through every stage of construction. Other stitchers come to me with a house that's already under construction. It has beautiful rooms, real character, but there are gaps in the structure. Maybe the wiring is incomplete in one room. Maybe a doorway isn't finished. Maybe the foundation is solid in one part of the house and shaky in another. And in that case, my job isn't to tear everything down. It's to help them identify the gaps, shore up what's weak, and finish the structure they've already started. Either way, we end up in the same place. A whole and completely beautiful house, a whole and completely confident stitcher. I'd especially love to hear from you on this one in the comments below. What's one skill gap you've been carrying around? One thing you've always felt a little shaky on but never wanted to admit? Is it choosing threads? Selecting stitches? Finishing what you start? I'm not going to judge. I'm just going to meet you where you are. And I promise you are not alone. Because when the gaps are filled, when everything connects, needlepoint stops feeling hard and it starts feeling like the most natural, most joyful, most deeply satisfying thing you can do. I know that's possible for you, my friend, because I've watched it happen for stitchers at every skill level, with every background of experience at every age. The shift is real, it's learnable, and it is so worth pursuing. All right, so your action step is this: a stitch audit. Take out your last finished canvas or your current one and look at it honestly. Find the one area that didn't turn out quite the way you imagined. Just find that one spot and ask yourself, was it the stitch, the thread, or the decision making that fell short? That one question answered honestly tells you exactly where to focus your learning next. If you want to go deeper, if you want to start filling in those gaps, building that foundation, and finally feeling like you know what you're doing on every canvas you pick up, then subscribing to my weekly email, Needle Notes, is your next best move. Click the link below this video and pop your email address into the Needle Notes sign-up form. Every week I share tips, tutorials, and a little stitching encouragement delivered right to your inbox. Because you, my friend, deserve to love every minute of your needlepoint hobby, and I would love to help you get there. 5 questions, 5 honest answers, 5 things you can do today. And I hope more than anything that this video made you feel a little bit less alone in the questions you've been carrying. Because here's what I know after all these years. The stitchers who ask the questions are always the ones who grow the most. Curiosity is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of someone who genuinely wants to get better. And getting better is absolutely, completely, 100% within your reach. Alrighty, until next time, my friend, happy stitching.